Hi everybody, just wanted to wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays wherever you are in the world. And I'm here at Rena's place in her backyard, and we're celebrating, it's Christmas Eve here, and I've been really inspired over the last few days thinking about the magnificent symbolism of the standard tree of the standard Christmas tree that we all familiar with. Why is it that we light this tree, and why is it that we always crown it with this beautiful pentacle, the symbol of DNA and the proteins of life? So this is a magnificent symbol, and you can see that we've put the 5-pointed star within the 5-pointed star. That means it's a fractal. The inside is the same as the outside. So I wanted to share my excitement about the pentacle on the tree of life. So I believe that the origin of the Christmas tree, which we're going to draw towards the end in this tall triangle, which is going to be based on the golden ratio, is that it emanates from the Qabbalah, the tree of life. So when you see these 12 spheres, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's kind of like a lightning bolt, a zigzag of energy from the celestial down to the terrestrial. And this is a typical pathway of globes or spheres called the Sephiroths. So these are the 12 planes, the journey from Earth, Malkuth, to heaven, which is called the Kether. So this is the journey from the Earth plane to connect with the multi-dimensions. So there's many pathways, and traditionally we have 10 spheres, but I believe that when we do the 12 spheres, it actually forms a double-terminated crystal. If you look at this point coming down and this point going up, it's balanced. So for some reason I prefer the cosmology of the 12. So I'll just show you a few little diagrams. So this is the one that I've drawn, the 12 spheres rather than the 10. And if you look at it closely, the tree of the Kabbalistic tree of life emanates from what we call a 2-frequency cube. You're really looking at the 8 original cells. So this is all about the cube of space. The tree of life emanates from the cube, from the 8 original cells, the Star of David within the Star of David. And so what I see in this top part here and the bottom part of the crystal is a cone, and this is actually the tree. So we're looking here at Kepler's triangle, which is based on the golden ratio. If this is 1, this is 1.27 square root of phi. And what that's based on is the orgone pyramid, which normally has a crystal cap. And this brings in the cosmic energy, and this was the suppressed work of Wilhelm Reich, who talked about the orgone energy, the life energy that cured cancers and repelled toxic energies. So when we base our geometries on the golden ratio, which is the mathematics of the human body, we're in alignment with the universe. So when we see this shape here, even though it's a triangle, it's actually a tetrahedron. And when we see these 4 here, it's actually a cube. So I want you to view this tree of life as a nesting of the 5 Platonic Solids. They've got the cube. And when you see the 6, so from the center here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you've got the 6 around a center, you're actually looking at what's called an Icosahedron. And the word star means to stellate. So when we stellate this and put 20 other tetrahedrons around the heart of the tree of life, we end up with a stellated icosa. So these are the same. So this is icosahedron, but when we stellate it, but you have to stellate it in the golden ratio. See these elongated forms? A little bit like this one here. It's an elongated pyramid. When you elongate or stellate into the golden ratio, what happens is from all of this 6ness, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how the pent comes? Anywhere I touch now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the pentahexa, which generates the dodecahedron. So we start with icosa, we stellate the icosa, and we end up with a dodeca, which is 12 pentagons. Then when we stellate this, we come back to a larger version of this. So this geometric infinity goes forever into the macro universe and into the quantum. So when we're looking at the tree of life, the heart of it is the icosahedral frequency, which is pretty much like the restructured water, the highest quality, the highest geometry of water. So I just wanted you to appreciate that this is a double-terminated crystal, and it's emanating harmony in all the pathways. And yet this tree is a metaphor for our own tree of life. We are all this knowledge within ourselves. So I just wanted to show you another. So when we were talking about this cone, because what we're going to do is we're going to draw this tree of life as an elongated orgone energy. So this is kind of a tree form where the radius is 1, the height is 1.272 golden root. But you can see that this is not a fabricated shape. It's a mathematics of a true living seashell that we have in nature. So what we're going to do is we're going to elongate this a bit more into this form here. So just the final diagrams. I want to show you that when we take the cone of life and turn it into like a tree, but generated from the light, we have the light, a tree made of light cones emanating from the source up here. That's why we always put the 5-pointed star there, because we have 7 chakras. This chakra up here is called the 8th chakra. That's called the soul star. So this 5-pointed star fractal is our portal to the higher dimension. So that's why I love this picture. So now we're going to draw on the board. We're going to look at these lines here, the triangle, the elongated Phi prism, and we're going to make it look like an organic tree-like structure, and then we can see how the energy moves in spirals. This is pretty much the shape of what we call the dunce's hut. When a student was failing at school, the teachers always put a cone, a golden ratioed cone upon the head to wake up the brain and the memory. So let's have a look at that. So my inspiration is, I'm going to do it in red. So I'm going to say that from the source, what we have, just follow these lines here. This is going to be the tree, and this here will be the trunk. So I suspect that energy comes from the above into our crown, and according to the hemisphere, northern or southern hemisphere, energy spins clockwise or counterclockwise. So what's happening is that we've got this beautiful energy spiral. It's just forming naturally. It's coming from the above, and it's feeding down into our body, into our minds, and into our hearts. So that's basically, in fact, what we might do is we know that this is going to be the trunk, and I believe that there's a sacred proportion. If that's the trunk to the height of the triangle, you could design cosmic Christmas trees so that they're in the golden ratio of the harmonics. So what we might do is we'll do another one the other way. Because we went one way like this, I'm going to go the other way now. So we're coming from source. We're just doing what nature does, is count. I think I did that direction, so we're going to go the other way. So we're going to just go the other way. And you can see that what we're really representing here in the tree of life is how energy moves. It moves from the above to the below, from the below to the above, left, right, and it creates a field. It's a coherent field. And the reminder here is that Christmas is a time when we come together, and what do? We grab our tree and we decorate our tree with all these little baubles or bubbles of light. These could be planetary energies. So we're decorating our tree with lots of light. So you can see all the light here. We're putting all this light around the tree because we're remembering the birth of a sacred healer, Jesus Christ, or the Messiah. We're celebrating the incarnation of avatars because they're mirrors of who we are. So this is a reminder when something's being birthed, and the knowledge from ancient times is still being transmitted today. And what do we do on Christmas? We gift each other. So I just wanted to conclude that this is a very special time. We need to look at the symbology of the cosmic Christmas tree, and to remember that it's a metaphor that we recognize that this tree of life is within us. Have a great holiday.